Hello, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. If you are interested in cross stitch, quilting, and taking time to be creative, then you're in the right spot. Today is September 2nd, 2021, and I just have a few things to share with you today. First of all, I'm not in my sewing room. I am an online teacher and teach from home, and so this is my classroom, and today's been kind of a busy day. I'm transitioning from one teaching position to another teaching position, and I had an interview today, which resulted in an offer. So anyway, trying to get a video in today so that I could spend some time talking with you this week. This is where this is where I'm at, because this is where my lights are, and I just thought, well, let's just visit from my classroom today. So I hope you've had a great week. It's been kind of, I don't know, a busy one, and one with lots of thought and preparation for the interview that I had today. It went really well, so that was pretty exciting. I've gotten just a tiny bit of cross stitch done in the last week. I've been working on this this cross stitch. It is called Stitchography. And it's a pattern by the Fat Quarter Shop. You know, the reason why I've gotten a little bit of progress on it is because I've had this sitting on the end of my dining room table, and it's a long table, and so it's just been tucked down there at the end, and I've been able to pick it up and stitch a little bit here and there, just a couple of different times. But the nice thing is I could sit at the end of that table and see the television and my family that's right next to me in the living room, and get a little bit of stitching in. I don't know that I would have gotten a chance to stitch on it if it was in my sewing room, tucked away in a bag. I honestly didn't even have it on a bag. There were a couple times that I went over and pushed it further away, so, you know, no food from dinner or anything would spill on it. But just having it out and available was enough to where I felt very comfortable just grabbing it and getting a few stitches in. So that was really nice. And in that same vein of thought, I was at Target this week, and they have a lot of their, back to school things, out and ready to go. All the school supplies and the things for college students to take to college and be organized. So one of the things that I picked up was a cart, and I have a similar cart. I think you've probably seen it. A lot of people have that blue IKEA cart that it's metal, and it's got 3 shelves in it, 3 little bins, and I use it in my classroom all the time. It's very handy, especially since it rolls. And I thought, Target has this a white one, and I got to thinking that it would be really nice to have a couple of projects sitting in one so that I could have it in our living room or have it next to the dining room table and be able to tuck it back in my sewing room when I wanted to have things, a little more tidied up. But I went ahead and picked one up. I haven't put it together yet, but I thought it would be a great place to have a couple of projects, and I'm not sure how I'll organize it yet. I may have one project per per shelf, and all the things related to it right there, so nothing gets mixed up. And I'd be able to have my light sitting on it because I kind of drag it around with me now, and so I don't know. I'm going to try it out and see how that goes, because, just having something close to you and available is really nice. And that would make it very easy for me to join my family over on the sofa or to be able to stitch at the table. Sometimes I go we've got this strange shaped room that's just inside our front door. I call it the library just because we have some bookshelves there, and we have my my mother and father-in-law's little wooden dining room table in there. We do puzzles and play games and do homework, and it's kind of a flex space, I would call it. But sometimes it gets really good light in the mornings, and so I'll sit down there and stitch some days. So anyway, just having a cart where I could just take all my supplies back and forth to different spots seems like a really good idea. I don't really have a specific stitchy spot yet. Maybe when we get new living room furniture, maybe I'll create a spot there, but as for now, I just kind of wander around the house depending on what's going on. So I'll update you on that, about how I use it and organize it. If any of you have suggestions and use a cart like that, let me know any tips that you have. So not a whole lot of cross stitching today, but I did want to share something that I am getting ready to do. So back when I was a member of the Kansas City Modern Quilt Guild, actually I'm still a member, but I'm a virtual member now, a friend of mine from Guild wrote a book called The School of Sewing. It's by Shay Henderson. And it says, learn it, teach it, sew together. So it is a beautiful book. And the thing I've always loved about this book is that it has a lot of projects in it. And it starts out with a very simple project, and then it builds up to more complicated project. And all along the way, you learn different skills. And I've made quite a few quilts, but I haven't made a whole lot of 3D objects, a few here and there. But the thing I love about this book is that it will walk you through step by step a lot of different projects that can build your sewing skills. And I've always wanted to sew my way through this book. And since it's September and it's back to school time, I decided what better time than now. So the beginning of this book has a lot of great information about interfacing and your sewing machine and what different kinds of fabrics are, notions that are really handy to use. It talks about different parts of a sewing machine, how to wind a sewing machine bobbin, so many different things that you would need to feel confident about starting your first project. And then there's a section of the book that's all about the projects. So I've actually made a few of these just because I've needed to make them from time to time. So I thought I would show you some of the projects that I'm going to work on throughout the year. So here's the first one. It's called the Speedy Pillowcase. And then the next project is called the Lined Drawstring Bag. There's a picture of that one. Another Guild member, Lauren Hunt, did the photography for this book, and the pictures are absolutely beautiful. Lucky Spool is the publisher, and I love their books. They always have great writing in the books. Some of them have just really interesting stories to read as well as projects. And I love that they use local photographers that are local often to the writer's area. So it gives each book, I think, kind of a special flavor. Can you call it flavor? I don't know. A special aesthetic, I guess you could say. So the next project is an apron. Look at those great big pockets. I think that would be so handy. It's called actually Simple Strings Apron. And then project number 4 is a ruffled wristlet key fob. And another Guild member, you might know her as T. Jenny, but Alex Ledgerwood is her name. She created the pattern for that, and Shay was able to use it in her book. And with all of these projects, there are what she calls extra credit, or at least most of the projects. So you can add an extra embellishment or another little detail to the project that, I don't know, adds a little personality, or you can just keep it simple the first time you make it, and then maybe the next time you make it, you'd want to add a little something else. Now this next project is called a zipper pouch, and I know zippers are pretty scary for a lot of people, and a lot of people that want to make project bags for their cross stitch are a little nervous sometimes about making a zipper for their first time. So this would be a great project if you are wanting to learn how to sew in a zipper. I've actually made a version of this bag for my daughter for her pencil pouch for school for several years. I actually haven't made her one this year, and last year she did school online, so we just made do with what we had. So I need to surprise her, I think, with a new pencil pouch. Another lesson is a pillow, and it's called the Zip It pillow. So the closure on the pillow is a zipper, and I think this one definitely has an extra credit option that you can, look up. Then project number 7 is a carry-all clutch. There's a picture of it. Lots of great techniques in this. Project 8 is a tech case. So if you have a tablet or an iPad, there's a bag for that to protect it. And the nice thing about this is it has a pouch. This is actually a little pouch to put some things in. And there's a process that she has listed out that you can measure whatever device you have and make it custom to yours. And okay, so this project has a buttonhole and a button. So you get to learn how to do that on a small project where you don't have to make this huge, complicated, giant thing. You can learn all these techniques with simple projects that you can be successful with. And then as you see other patterns for things, then you can take those skills and apply them to more complicated things. So I really love this tote. It's called the Essential Tote Bag. And there it is. I think it has canvas straps. Then we have, I have to show you the extra credit. The extra credit is here, and it's a striped bag, so you can make an ombre effect if you want. Pretty fun. And there's also an extra credit for putting a zipper inside it. So lots of options as your skills grow. Here's a pleated purse. And that's project 10. Project 11 is a set of placemats. You can learn to quilt. You can learn to bind with a much smaller project. So you can learn those skills. And if you never go on to make a quilt, you know how to make some projects like that, some smaller projects that you can quilt. And then the very last project, project 12, is a quilt. It's called My First Quilt. And the really neat thing about this is it's not just one pattern. She gives you options for laying it out a lot of different ways. So I won't show you all of them, but just very quickly, there's, a bunch of different versions and layouts that you can choose from to make it, kind of custom to what you like. So my plan for sewing through this book is to start in September and just pick a project or so a month. And I'm shaking you, sorry about that. So just pick a project a month to do and just work my way through the book, because I've always wanted to make all of the projects, and this keeps it pretty manageable. And the other thing that I like about it is that I'll be developing my skills as I go to do some more 3D things like bags. I've made some bags before, some very simple ones, but it's been a while and I feel like I'm pretty rusty. And I feel like all of the things in the book are very practical, things that I can definitely use day to day. We use placemats on our table all the time, mostly ones that my mom has made for me. And then the other great thing is that they're all pretty small projects except for the quilt. And I feel like it will give me a chance to sew something, learn something new, but also accomplish something. I am not very much a project-driven, person. I really just like the process. I like the feeling of just, working through some steps. I love cross stitch because I just love the process of stitching. And in the past, I haven't been too concerned about finishing things. I really, I like having a finished project, but it's not what drives me. It's not, oh, I want this specific thing and I'm going to work until I get it done because I need it. For me, just sitting down and working through the process, I want to stitch because I love that feeling of sitting down, having a quiet moment, and the motion of stitching. And I love fabric, so I just love getting it out, measuring it and cutting it and sewing it together. And when I get a quilt top, a lot of times I don't know, I don't feel like a whole lot of pressure that I need to have a quilt. But all that said, it's nice to have a finished project that gives you, it does give you a lot of satisfaction. And I'm kind of to that point right now in my life that I want some more finished projects. So I thought at least once a month I would have that satisfaction of accomplishment and that I finished a project with my sewing machine. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on how all that goes, and I can show you some fabric that I've picked out for a pillowcase. I've picked out some fabrics for some pillowcases for us to use in our camper. So it's really nice to have ones that are specific for that. And I found some pillowcases that are, or not pillowcases, I found some fabric that have some fun prints that make me think of camping. So I got those with hopes that I could make a pillowcase for them. So here's the first one. And if I remember right, I got this one at Sarah's Fabrics in Lawrence. I've actually found quite a few camping or outdoorsy kind of fabrics at that store. So the sleeping bags are really fun. I thought my daughter might like that. And then for the cuff, I got this polka dot fabric. Thought they looked pretty fun together. There's some pink polka dots here, some polka dots here. Oh, and here's some blue ones. So anyway, that's what I think I'm going to make my first pillowcase project with. When I was looking through my stash of fabric, though, I also found this fabric. This fabric is called In the Meadow, and it's by, I think, Doohickey Designs. I'm not sure who printed it. I just love seeing the selvages. Sherry Butler by Doohickey Designs, and I'm not sure who prints this fabric. Sweet Bee Designs. So anyway, I'll have to show you the selvage on it. It's got some very cute birds at the bottom. So I don't know what the cuff will be. There's a lot of colors in here, so I'm sure I'll be able to find something. But very cute, and I thought that would be my pillowcase. I've got some other outdoorsy fabric that I'm pretty sure I purchased for a pillowcase, but I've cut into it for some other little things, and I need to double check and make sure that there's enough of it still left to make a pillowcase for my husband. So anyway, we'll see on that. All right, I think that's all I have to share with you today. Not a whole lot of cross stitching and not a whole lot of zero sewing this week. We are going to spend some time in Colorado over the Labor Day weekend, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Just a kind of a long weekend. So it's so close now that it's really easy to just zip up there and enjoy the mountains. So anyway, I hope that you have some fun plans for the weekend, and I have some giveaways still for my floss tube that I released the video last week, and we will definitely visit about that next week. I think I'll have some cross-stitching time this weekend in particular, and now that some of the prep and excitement from the interview process is all wrapped up, I'm hoping to have a little more time to stitch in the next week. So I will share my progress, and I will share the giveaway winners, and you can still enter if you want. You can just take a look at that video and see what I have available. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.